How can you run profitable PPC campaigns? Okay, so welcome to the PPC section of the course. This is where I'm going to break down for you the best techniques, the best tips and tricks that will help you to build successful and profitable pay-per-click advertising campaigns for your products inside of Amazon. So the main goal for anyone that is running PPC advertising campaigns is to try and make or to generate as many sales as possible, spending as little as possible. That's the name of the game. Now, before I get into the specifics of PPC and how to create your campaigns, the most important part of making this work for you and your business is your final product and product listing. There is not a single person on the planet or a machine or a software or an algorithm that can make your campaign successful if you're selling a rubbish product or you have a bad product listing. Okay, it's just not going to happen. And the reason for that is pretty obvious, but you can't just throw money at advertising and expect to make a bad product sell well. It's simply not going to work. To give you an example, I could spend $10,000 advertising this car for sale on Amazon, and I would maybe at best find a seller that would give me $50 scrap value. But I'm never going to recoup my $10,000 that I've spent on advertising the car. And the same thing goes with your product. If it's a bad quality product, your reviews will firstly reflect this, which will turn customers away. And even if it's a good product, but the product listing is bad, you'll struggle to convert people from looking at the product to actually pulling their card out and buying the product. So the first and most important lesson for all of this to work in your business is to sell good products. Otherwise, you can endlessly throw money into advertising, but you're never going to be profitable. So, okay, now that I've gotten that point out of the way, let's talk about ACOS. Now, I'll refer to this term quite a bit throughout this course because it is a very important metric to understand if your advertising, your PPC advertising campaigns and keywords are working and are profitable. ACOS stands for your advertising cost of sales. In the most simple way to explain how it is calculated, your ACOS is displayed as a percentage of how much it costs to advertise and sell a product compared to the price of the product itself. So as an example, if you sell a product and it costs $100 for the customer to buy, and it costs you $20 in advertising to make that sale, your ACOS would be 20%. So although you made a sale for your product at $100, you only get $80 because you spent 20 of that $100 sale on PPC in order to make that sale, and 20 off of 100, that is 20%. Now that is a very simple breakdown of what your ACOS is. Now the formula to calculate your ACOS is as follows. You take the amount that you have spent on your advertising divided by the amount that you have generated in sales, and then you multiply that by 100. So to give you a more in-depth example, if you have spent $217 on advertising and you've generated $1,780 in sales, you would do 217 divided by 1780, which is 0.12191, and then you would multiply that by 100, which leaves you with 12.19, meaning that your ACOS is 12.19%. Now luckily with Amazon PPC campaigns, they do all of the calculations for you and only ever give you a percentage, which is much easier to understand rather than you having to do all of those difficult calculations yourself. Where it becomes tricky is getting your ACOS low enough in order to still be profitable when you're making sales and paying for advertising. So let me give you a more in-depth breakdown of what a product and all of its costs might look like. So let's start with a hypothetical product that you're selling for $30, okay? Now the product, it costs you £4.50 to buy from your supplier, it costs you another £1.70 or $1.70 to ship into Amazon, and on top of that Amazon charge you $4.50 a referral fee and a $2.70 pick and pack fee. Now if you add all of that up, that's $13.40 or pounds, meaning that for every sale you make at $30, you only receive $16.60 in profit. So you've sold a product for $30, your profit for that, once you take into account all of your costs, is $16.60, which is a 55.33% of your selling price. So you sold a product for $30, your profit for that, once you take into account all of your costs, is $16.60, which is 55.33% of your selling price. So now you know that you can afford to run a PPC advertising campaign and spend up to 55.33% ACOS of your product's final selling price, and you would break even, meaning that you wouldn't make any money, but you also wouldn't be losing any money. Now I'm making these numbers up as an example, but what you need to do is first firstly find out what your net margin is, your net profit margin for your product, once you take into account what your product sells for minus all of your costs and Amazon fees. And once you have that, you need to turn it into a percentage of your product's final selling price. Now, the same way I spoke about a minute ago, you take your net profit from a product and you divide that by your product's final selling price, and then you multiply that by 100. So for the above example that I just gave to you, if your net margin is $16.60, you sold a product for $30, you do 16.6 divided by 30, and then you multiply that by 100, which gives you 55.33. So your net margin as a percentage for that example would be 55.33%. Now you need to find out what your net margin is, convert it into a percentage, and then once you have that, you now know what the most your ACOS for any of your Amazon PPC advertising campaigns for that product can be without losing money. And once your ACOS goes over that net margin percentage, that means you're no longer profitable, you're in fact losing money. Now, Amazon PPC is an art, okay? It's not something that you can master in a single day or even a week. It takes consistent work and effort put in over time in order to achieve great results. Now, when you start any new campaign, it's completely normal to overspend on your ACOS in order for you to find out what keywords and what ad placements work for you and for your products. And over time, you make slight adjustments that bring your campaign costs, aka your ACOS, down to a level where your business becomes profitable. So with all of that being said, now you hopefully understand what your ACOS is and what you're aiming for. Let's jump into how to start creating all of the different types of campaigns that can help you generate more sales and more profit for you and your Amazon business. So before I get started showing you how to create PPC campaigns inside of your Amazon account, I want to talk about broad targeting, phrase targeting, and exact targeting. Now, these three methods are extremely important because they are three ways when you are creating manual campaigns and you're targeting specific keywords. They are three ways that you can target your specific keywords. So I want to make sure that you understand what each of them mean and break them down, give you an example just so you understand exactly what you're doing. So when it comes to you creating your manual campaigns, you know which method and way in which you choose to target your specific keywords. So the first method in which you can target keywords is the broad match. Now, what broad means is that your keywords or your products, if you're targeting specific keywords for that product, it can show up in a variety of ways when customers are searching on Amazon, even if they don't specifically use your exact keywords. So as an example, if we were selling red t-shirts, simple example, if we were selling red t-shirts, so the most obvious keyword that you would be targeting is red keywords. Now, if you create a campaign using the broad match setting and your keyword is red t-shirt, Amazon will also match or suggest your product to customers who might not even necessarily be searching for a red t-shirt, because they think, or the algorithm thinks, that your customer might be interested in that particular item. So a customer could be searching for something on Amazon, they could type in men's t-shirt in large, and your red t-shirt, which might be a medium for all we know, I don't know if you've got any variations to it or not, your t-shirt could be recommended to that person because they are simply looking for a t-shirt, and Amazon thinks, well, you are selling t-shirts, granted it's a red t-shirt, but because you put a broad match, this customer might be interested in your particular product. Now, in most cases, unless you're creating really low bidding campaigns with broad match, which is something I'll get onto later on in this module, most cases broad match are going to be very unprofitable campaigns because they are going to show your products to a whole heap of people who they think may be interested in your product, but because they're not specifically looking for your exact product, chances are they might click on your listing, they're going to spend a lot of your advertising budget, and they're not really looking for your particular product. But because your product is closely related to the product that they are searching for, Amazon is going to recommend it because you've selected broad match. So in most cases, you're not going to be selecting or using broad match because although someone might be looking for a product that is closely related to your product, in most cases they're not going to be looking for your product itself. So they might be recommended it by Amazon, they're going to click on your listing, but they're not really interested in buying your product because in some cases it might not even have anything to do with your product, but because you've selected broad match, Amazon's algorithm thinks that it is related or they might be interested in your product, and they're not. It's just going to cost you advertising money, which will not necessarily end up making you a sale or generating you or your business any profit. So that is how I would define a broad match on Amazon. The next match option you have is something that they call phrase match. Now, phrase match is now narrowing your search options. I like phrase match campaigns because they allow you to target specific keywords. And now what Amazon will do is they have to use your keywords within the keywords that they are looking for. So again, I'll use the example. If you are selling a red t-shirt, a customer can come onto Amazon and they could type in little girl red medium t-shirt, and your product will now show up, because although they haven't typed in specifically red t-shirt, they've used the words red and they've used the words t-shirt in their search, in their search terms, in their keywords. And Amazon now knows that although that there are words in between, in the middle and in the end of your specific keyword, which in this case is red t-shirt, they know that this customer has typed in those keywords along with other keywords in a certain phrase, so they now know that this customer is searching for something that is very closely related, or if not, your exact product. So that is how you would determine a phrase match. They can use your specific keywords, they can put other words in front of your specific keyword, they can put them in the middle and break your keywords up, or they could put them at the end. So as another example, they could type in red t-shirt for cat. Again, it might not be, the customer might not be looking for your exact product, but because they've used the term red t-shirt and then they've added for cat, because you've used phrase match and your keywords have still been used within that phrase, Amazon will now show your product to that customer, and that could potentially bring you in some sales. So we've started off with broad match, which is a very broad targeting spectrum. We've now come into phrase match, which now tightens your search restrictions, so they have to use specific keywords within their search terms when they are searching for a product in order to activate a phrase match and now show that particular customer your product, and that might potentially generate you a sale. And the last option that you have, which is the most precise targeting method that you can, is something that is called an exact match. Now that is pretty self-explanatory. If you target a specific keyword, again I'll use the keyword red t-shirt, unless someone specifically puts in exactly red t-shirt, your product will not be shown to them. So if they were to put in red t-shirts with an S at the end, it wouldn't show, because they have not typed in exactly the keywords that you're targeting. If you were selling a black basketball, if they did not put in black basketball, if they put in large black basketball, your product wouldn't show up. If they put in black basketball medium size, your product would not show up, because again they've added more keywords. For an exact match, they have to type in the exact keywords that you have given to Amazon in order to then show to customers if they type in those exact keywords. If they add so much as a symbol or a letter that differentiates itself from the exact keywords that you have given to Amazon, your product will not be shown to those particular customers. So again, we can start off with broad match, which is a very broad spectrum of targeting. You can then narrow that down to phrase match, so customers can put keywords in front, in the middle, or in the end of the keywords that you're trying to rank and sell your products under. And then you've got exact match, which is unless they type in those exact keywords, your products will not be shown to that customer. Now I just wanted to break down those three examples for you, so the broad match, the phrase match, and the exact match, because those are the three terms or the three options that Amazon give you search term wise when customers are searching for keywords that you can now create your manual keyword campaigns around. So now that we've broken that down and covered that step, we can now get onto creating our campaigns in the Okay, so the very first campaign I'm going to be showing you how to create is an automatic PPC campaign. Now this is the very first campaign I'd recommend that you start, is because you are essentially going to let Amazon choose all of the keywords or product listings that they think will convert your customers into a sale for your particular product. So what they are going to do is, using their algorithm, which is crazy intelligent, artificial intelligence, it is going to target any listing, any keyword that it thinks that can help you to generate a sale for your product. So in order to do that, inside of your Amazon seller account, you're going to go to advertising, and then you're going to click on the campaign manager tab. Then you're going to come over to this orange button, you're going to click on the create a campaign button. So you're now greeted with three options. You've got sponsored products, you've got sponsored brands, and you've got sponsored display. Now in order to use sponsored brands or display, you're going to need to have an active trademark and be enrolled into Amazon's brand registry. So you won't be able to use them until you have an active trademark that is legally registered. So we're going to be using sponsored products, so you're going to click on continue. A new campaign is going to load up, and you're just going to call this new auto campaign, just so that you know when it comes to downloading your search term report, you know what campaign's what, so you're not downloading the search report for a different campaign to the one that you intended to. So correct name, new auto campaign. Portfolio, we're not going to put that in any portfolio for now. You've got the start date, so that would be today's date is March the 28th, but you can start that with whatever day you are choosing to create your campaign. End date, we're going to leave that blank. Now your daily budget. Now what I need to say is that when it comes to automatic targeting, Amazon will spend every penny that you give them, okay? Their algorithm, as well as it is designed to try and help you to generate sales and become profitable, it's also going to try and make Amazon as much money as possible, okay? So it's going to be battling back and forth between which of those it wants to do. So if you could give this a daily budget of $50,000, you can bet your life that Amazon will try and spend up to $50,000, okay? So whatever daily budget you give Amazon when it comes to automatic targeting, they will spend pretty much that exact amount. They will try and spend all of it, okay? So what you need to do is put in an amount that you are comfortable with spending. Now, if it's your first campaign, I'd recommend, you know, somewhere in the region of $20, maybe $30 a day, but just keep in mind that over a period of 7 days, it is going to spend whatever you give it on a daily basis. Okay, so for this example, we'll put in $20. Automatic targeting. Scroll a little further down, you've got 3 options. You've got campaign bidding strategy, you've got dynamic bids down only, which is where Amazon will lower your bids in real time when your ad may be less likely to convert into a sale. You've got dynamic bids, which is up and down, so it'll also not only decrease your bid, but it will also increase your bid by a maximum of up to 100%. If it thinks that your ad will convert, or is more likely to convert to a sale over another sponsored ad, or less likely it will decrease your bid. So it will go both up and down up to 100%. And lastly, you have fixed bids. Now this is pretty self-explanatory. Fixed bids means that you will give them a bid and they will not mess with that. They will not go over that. If you want to bid $1, $2, $5 for any keywords or product listing, it will not go over the bid that you tell it to. Now, what I like to do for automatic targeting is go dynamic bids down only. That's what I like to do. So it will only lower your bid. It will never increase your bid. So once you've done that, we'll scroll a little further down. Ad group name. So we're just going to call that new auto campaign. You're going to select your product, so you'll have a list of your products if you've got more than one here. So we're going to add this particular product, which is the one that we're advertising. And then further down, you've got automatic targeting. You're going to set your default bid. Now this is going to, remember, because we've got dynamic bids down only, it's never going to increase your bid. So you will never pay more than what you put in here. Now it's suggesting that you bid $1, and you can bid anywhere between 75 cents. I mean, that's the default bid. You could go even lower than that if you wanted to. What I would recommend is that you use the suggested bid and see how Amazon gets on. So suggested bid is $1. So we'll click that, we'll make it $1. And then you would simply scroll down to the bottom and hit launch campaign. Now what that will do is over the next, however long you let it run, however many days, I recommend giving it at least a week. Amazon will now, using up to $1 in bids and your $20 a day budget, or whatever your budget is that you're comfortable with spending, Amazon will now automatically target as many keywords and as listings or related products as possible in order to help you generate sales. And what you are going to do after, I'd say at least give it 7 days. If you're really, really comfortable and you're okay with spending a little bit more, you've got a little bit more of a budget to spend, I'd give it 2 weeks. 10 days, 10 days is ideal. 2 weeks would be, really, really ideal. The longer you can give it, the more data you're going to have. And then when it comes to downloading a search term report, which is something I'm going to cover in another video coming up shortly, you can then have a look at how your automatic campaigns are performing. You can see the data that Amazon's going to give you, what keywords are working for you and profitably, what are performing at your ACOS level that you're comfortable with spending and below that. So in order for you to be profitable, which is something I spoke about in the previous video, you can remove anything that is spending over your target ACOS and you can keep anything that is matching or below your target ACOS. But we're going to get into that into one of the very next videos when I show you how to download a search term report and read all of that data. But for now, that is the very first campaign that I would recommend setting up. So that is exactly how you would set up an automatic targeting campaign inside of your Amazon PPC campaigns. How you can find the best keywords that your competitors are making sales on in order to then create and target campaigns, Amazon PPC campaigns, and target those specific keywords in order to help you generate sales for your business inside of Amazon. So the very first thing that you have to do inside of Amazon.com or whatever the marketplace is that you're selling on, I want you to type in the most obvious keyword that best describes your product. So if you think about it for a second, whatever your product may be, I want you to type in the most obvious keyword that describes that product that your customers would be searching for on Amazon. So as an example, one of my favorite examples, if your product, I should say, was a baby silicone bib or silicone bib for babies, chances are the most obvious keyword would be silicone baby bib or bib for babies in silicone. Maybe not so much. It'd probably be silicone baby bib. So as that example, oh, there you go, straight away, silicone bibs for babies, it pops up on Amazon. So you're going to type in the most obvious keyword for your product that you think your customers would be typing in. Again, if you're struggling with this, you can, like I just did, start to type in what you think is the most obvious, and whatever the first keyword from the drop-down menu that Amazon gives to you, that is obviously the most popular keyword when you start to type and when you start to search. That is the most popular keyword for that specific keyword, if that makes sense, when customers start to type it. So you type in your most obvious keyword, you're going to scroll down, ignore the sponsored ads. I want to see what the most popular product on the market is, and it is, according to Amazon, bestseller I should say, this product right here. This is ranked #1 for silicone bibs for babies. So We're going to click on that particular product, and once the page loads, I now want to get the product ASIN. Now the ASIN is this code up here in the URL. It's normally 10 digits long, and it starts with the letters B and then the number 0. Okay, so we want to copy that code. That is just an individual, think of it as more like a barcode for a product. Okay, it's an individual set of serial numbers that Amazon give products. They're called ASINs, and that allows you to identify every single product as an individual product inside of Amazon. So we're going to copy that particular code. We're then going to head over to my AMZ Scout account. If you go into the side menu here, and you're going to click on reverse ASIN lookup, and then inside of here you're going to type in that product ASIN that we just had. So if I'm going to copy and paste that particular ASIN, and then we're going to hit search, find the keywords. Now what AMZ Scout is now going to do is, using that particular ASIN to identify that particular product, it's going to show you the most searched for keywords, that are the ways in which customers find that particular product when they are looking for products on Amazon. Okay, and once it loads up, the first thing I want to do is sort them out in terms of their estimated monthly search volume. So I want to click on this, and then I want to click on it again, and now it's going to search it, or sorry, sort it out from in terms of how often they're searched for, from the highest amount to the lowest. So you can see here 77,000, the most popular keyword that that product sells under is baby bib, followed by silicone baby bib, silicone baby bibs, silicone bib, baby bibs. You get my point. It's going to list all of the keywords in terms of how customers are finding that specific product on Amazon. Now what you want to do is scroll down here, and you want to download that as a CSV file. And once it's downloaded, we're going to open it up. You're going to be given a spreadsheet like this. So let me just spread these bars open a little bit so we can see what we're dealing with. You want to stretch out A and B. So there are the keywords. There is your search volume. We're going to sort this column out from highest to lowest. So if we sort that out there from largest to smallest, click sort. So you can now see the most popular words are sorted from highest search volume to lower search volume, and they're in this column here. We want to copy all of them. Now you don't have to copy all of them, but I like to. It gives me as much data as possible, and then I can see what is working inside of my PPC campaigns and see what isn't working. So I'm now going to, I'm using a Mac, so I'm not sure what it's like if you're using a Windows PC. I'm going to hit, once I click on the top keyword here, I'm going to hit Command, Shift and down on my arrow. That's going to copy the entire column for me. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to head over to my Amazon account, which I have open here. I'm going to hit advertising. I'm going to go to my campaign manager. I'm going to click on create a new campaign, and we're going to be selecting sponsored products. Campaign name, so I'm going to call it manual exact, because I know the exact keywords that I wish to target. No portfolio, the start date and end date, daily budget, let's say $20 again. Again, you're going to type in whatever you're comfortable with spending. Then you're going to click on manual targeting. After that, we're going to stick with dynamic bids down only. I don't want them to be increasing my bids, so we'll go dynamic bids down only. Add group name 1, again, manual exact. You're going to then add the product that you wish to advertise. So we'll click add on this particular product. Going a little further down, we're then going to be targeting keywords. We don't want to target products yet. We're going to do that in separate campaigns. So keyword targeting. We're then going to have suggested, entered list and upload file. We're going to want to enter a list because we've just copied our list. So we know the keywords that we want to paste into here. So if I click paste, you'll now see there's a list of all the most popular keywords that we've already gathered from AMZ Scout, from our most popular competitors listing. They're already all in there. And we're going to unclick broad and unclick phrase because we want to create an exact target campaign. I spoke about the 3 targeting options in a previous video. We only want to do an exact campaign this time around because we know the exact keywords that are making our most popular competitor the most sales. And we want to target those exact keywords and nothing else inside of this particular campaign. So once we now click add keywords, it's going to add all of those keywords, and our baby silicone bibs doesn't have an exact suggested bid, so we can leave that at 75 cents. That's fine. Add keywords. Now you can see sometimes it won't have added the suggested bid, so you can click on apply all, but in this case for most of them it has done. It's going to suggest a bid. I recommend just applying what the suggested bid that Amazon has told you to apply. Apply that to the specific keywords. And then once you've done that, scroll down to the bottom and you can simply hit launch campaign. And that is how you're going to create a campaign targeting the exact keywords that your main competitor, and you can do this through several of your main competitors' listings. You can use this exact method for each one of them if you want to keep adding more keywords. But the main competitor, who is the top dog in that niche for that particular product, making the most sales, you want to take all of their most popular keywords that is generating the most sales and make an exact match PPC campaign, target those specific keywords. And if you've done a good job on your listing, this is going to help generate you sales and take them off of your main competitor and the keywords that you know they are generating sales from. Talk about a strategy that a lot of professional Amazon sellers use, and it's extremely effective at finding keywords that you wouldn't necessarily know to target or find during keyword research, but they can end up being very, very profitable. And that is by using what we would call a low bid, broad match campaign. Now, what this strategy does for you is you're going to target keywords and products automatically. You're going to let Amazon's algorithm choose what to target. You're going to do the broad setting, so it's going to have a really, really broad or wide spectrum of products and keywords that it's going to target, that it thinks are going to generate you sales. But you're going to have a very, very low bid setting, because you do not want to, even using a normal bid setting or an increased bid setting, you're going to end up spending hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on a lot of random keywords. So the trick to this campaign is to have a very, very low bid. And what you are hoping to do is find a lot of keywords that you wouldn't necessarily find or even know to target, that are going to convert in the long run and become profitable for you, your business, and your Amazon product. So inside of your Amazon account, you're going to hit the advertising tab, go to campaign manager, click on create a new campaign, and we're going to go sponsor products. Okay, and once your campaign settings open up, we're going to go low bid broad match campaign. So make sure you name that so that you know when it comes to downloading your search term reports in the future, you know exactly what your campaign is. No portfolio, that's fine. Start date, we'll leave that as it is, and end date is absolutely fine. Daily budget, I recommend somewhere starting in the region of between $10 and $20. Now, if you've got a higher budget, then you can obviously go more than that. If you've got a lower budget, then you can aim for $10 is fine. And if you really, if you're on a very, very tight budget, you can start on $5 and work your way up. You're probably not going to get a lot of your money spent when you are going to $5, because Amazon obviously has a lot more people bidding for keywords and they've got a much higher budget. So I recommend at least $10 if you can afford to do so. So we will go $10 for this example. You want automatic targeting, so Amazon are going to choose all of the products and keywords that you're going to target with this campaign. Scrolling further down, we're going to go to dynamic bids down only, because we don't want Amazon increasing our bids and we don't want fixed bids, so we want to just go down only. Add group name, we're going to call that again, so low bid broad match campaign. Add the product that you wish to advertise, and lastly you're going to set the default bid. Now I recommend having this somewhere between 25 and 30 cents, and that is a maximum. Like I said, this is a very low bid broad match setting or campaign. We do not want to be spending 50 cents or $1 on, you know, any sort of keyword that Amazon thinks that will end up converting a customer into one of your sales, becoming a customer and buying one of your products, making a sale for you. We do not want to waste money in order to find out whether or not that is going to work or not. That is why I recommend using a very, very low bid. And what you'll also find is throughout the day, people have their campaign budget set or whatever they may do. During the day, that's obviously going to be very, very busy. But when it comes to late afternoon and early evening, and then especially when it gets into the really, really late hours of the evening or early hours of the next morning, a lot of people, their daily budget has run out. So the few hours from, I'd say, 8 p.m. till midnight before the clock resets, and then obviously their daily budget kicks in again. We're talking about other advertisers at this moment in time. During the day, a lot of people's budget, it will run out. So when it comes to the early evening point, when people have come home from work and they're online, they're shopping, if people are targeting specific keywords and their budget has run out during the day, you are now going to effectively try and hijack those customers, because the people that have been targeting and spending more money on their campaigns during the day targeting specific products and keywords, if their daily budget has run out because they haven't got enough money to keep it going up until midnight until it resets again, you are now going to effectively clean up all of those customers from the late afternoon to early evening sort of hours. You're up until midnight when the clock resets. You're effectively trying to take all of those customers and sales. Amazon's going to choose and target as many keywords and as products that it thinks are going to convert to sales as possible during this time frame. Especially, that's when you're going to find that a lot of these bids kick in, and hopefully you're going to find specific keywords, specific products. Amazon's going to do all this for you using the low bid setting, so you're not going to spend an absolute fortune. You're going to find out when you download your search term report in a week's time, you're going to find out if any of these keywords or products that you wouldn't necessarily think to target are converting well enough for you to then add it into your normal campaigns, and voila, you haven't spent a fortune, but you've managed to find out, spending a little bit of money, extra keywords and extra products that convert to sales for you and are profitable without having to spend an absolute fortune and breaking your bank doing so in the process. So default bid, we will set this at 30 cents. And lastly, you've got negative keyword targeting and negative product targeting. You do not have to do that, and all you would now do is launch your campaign. I would recommend letting it run from anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. I'd say after 7 days you can download a search term report. You can have a look at how it's performing ACOS wise, and anything that is profitable for you, Congratulations, you've just found profitable keywords and you haven't spent an absolute fortune in finding them. And anything that isn't profitable for you, even on a low bid setting, you can simply move on, understand that you've bought some data. Effectively what you're doing is buying data from Amazon here. You would have found out what data works for you, what data doesn't work for you. You can then make a new campaign, add all of the stuff that does work for you, remove all of the stuff that doesn't work for you, and you can move on and continue to generate and be successful generating profits and sales for you and your Amazon business. But that is exactly how you are going to create and buy data off of Amazon effectively without spending an absolute fortune, using the low bid broad match setting for an Amazon PPC campaign. Another great way for you to generate profitable sales for you and your Amazon business using PPC campaigns is not by only targeting specific keywords. You can now, which is an amazing feature that Amazon added, once they got their PPC business really full scale and up and running, you can now target your, not only keywords, you can target your competitors' products as well. Now, what I mean by that, I'll give you an example in a second, is that you can go on a Amazon listing, you can get your competitor's ASIN number, you can then create a completely new Amazon PPC campaign, and when people are shopping for whatever product it is that you're selling, if they click on your main competitor's listing, they will also be shown inside of that listing your product. Now, the key for this strategy to work is that you have to have a better listing and a better offer. You have to offer your customers more value, and you also have to have a better listing in order for them to click on your listing and then convert. So what you're essentially trying to do is hijack your main competitor's customers. But in order for that to work, you have to offer them a better deal. You have to have a better listing as well, because they are not going to go onto your competitor's listing if it's really, really good. See your listing pop up in the ad section, have a look at yours, and if yours is either a worse deal, so if it's a cheaper looking product, or the listing isn't as good and it doesn't showcase your product and its best features, and essentially oversell your competitor. It's pretty much you're doing this. You've got product A and product B. Amazon sit back, and your customer, for this example, imagine you're the customer. If you're on competitor A listing, they see yours competitors B, and B isn't as good as A, then they're going to revert back to going to A, and essentially all you've done is lost money. So in order for this to work, which I spoke about in the beginning of the course, you need to have a really, really good product, and on top of that, you need to have a really, really good listing in order for this to work. Now, if you're confident that you have those two, we'll jump straight into it and I'll show you exactly what I mean. So first things first, you are going to need to get the ASINs of your main competitors' listings to do this. But what we will do, so inside of your Amazon account, we're going to hit advertising, we're going to go to campaign manager, we're going to create a new campaign, sponsored products, and this would be target main competitors listings campaign. So you want to name the campaign just so you know exactly what campaign it is when it comes to you downloading your search term reports in the future. Start date, whatever the day is when you create your campaign. End date, no end date in mind, or if you want to only run it for a week or so, you can put an end date in if you wish to do that. Daily budget, I'd start off with at least $10. In an ideal world, the more money that you have, the more data you can buy off of Amazon, and the quicker you will be able to scale and the more effective this will be. But whatever your budget is, for this example, let's just say we're working with a $20 budget. We want to select manual targeting. Scroll down, we'll leave that on dynamic bids, down only. Now, ad group name, once again, let me just copy this. So we'll call the ad group name exactly the same thing. Scroll down, add the product that you wish to advertise. We're going to go to product targeting, because we're targeting specific products now rather than keywords. Now, you can target an entire category that your product is being sold within, or you can choose individual products. Now, what I'm doing in this example, I want to choose individual products, because you only really want to target your main 3 to 5 top competitors. You don't want to target the entire niche. So individual products. So it's now going to suggest a load of products that are closely related to your specific product, but we want to search for individual products. Like I said, you only want to target the top 3 or 5 competitors, maybe the top 7 or 8 if you're in a really, really competitive niche, but you don't want to go crazy with this. So you want to hit search. Now you can either search by the product name, ASIN, or SKU. Now the quickest way to do this, from my experience, is to just get the direct ASIN off of Amazon. So in order to do that, inside of Amazon, you need to find your main competitors' listings or their ASINs. So for this example, if we were selling a baby silicone bib, type in the main keywords for whatever your product is, the main keywords that you wish to target, find the main competitors. So you want to ignore the sponsored ads, because these are just people advertising themselves. So if these were your main competitors, so for example, Panda Ear, Blissberry Silicone, Hudson Baby, Mushy Silicone, those are the top 4 sellers in this particular product or this particular niche. What you would do is click on their product listing. You would take the ASIN of the product. So the ASIN is always found in this bar up here. It's 10 digits long. It begins with B0 and it's always encased inside of brackets. So there is the product ASIN here. You would copy that ASIN, and then we'll go back to our Amazon PPC campaign manager, paste that ASIN into here, hit search, and voila, there's the first product. And all you would simply do then is click target. Now you're going to do this with, like I said, if you want to go for the top 3 of your main competitors' listings, top 5. If you're in a really, really competitive niche, you can push it to 8 or 10. But I would recommend starting with, I'd say go for the top 5 of your main competitors and see how it works out. Sometimes it might not work out, and anything that is spending too much money, so if it's above what your acceptable ACOS level would be, if you're overspending, or even if you are converting but not at a good enough rate, you can remove your ads from that particular product's listing. If there are any of your ads that are converting that are really, really good ACOS, so they're profitable for you and your business, you can, like I say, you can scale this up and spend even more money targeting that particular product listing with your product's ad, and then hopefully more customers convert from buying product A. They see your product B advertised, they're going to buy your product instead. And as long as it is profitable for you and your business, that's the end game. That is the name of the game, in order to make as much money and generate as many sales as possible and still be profitable when advertising. So we'll come back here, we can remove this ASIN. If I go back to my Amazon listing, you're going to go back to the top 4, top 5, click on this one here. Again, same thing, you want to get the ASIN, which is in the URL up here, 10 digits long, encased in brackets, always starts with B0, copy that, head back to your Amazon listing, type in, paste in that second ASIN, there it is, there's that product, and then target. So now we're targeting 2 products, so you see down here it will tell you the specific products that you're targeting. You are going to do that with as many products as you wish to target. Now I recommend with the suggested bid as well, you click apply all. So it will recommend what a suggested bid is, it will apply all, and then you would simply launch your campaign. And now after a week, I'd say let that run, have a look at what your ACOS levels are coming back with. Any products that are profitable and that you're happy with, you can keep them inside of your listing, you can scale that up and put more money into it. Anything that is above your ACOS or spending too much money, it's not profitable for you or your Amazon business, you can remove them and continue on. Now the last example I want to give you is just to show you exactly how this looks. So if we go back to here, we'll go back to the main list of products. Okay, once that loads up, this is the, let's just say these are the competitors that you're targeting. If I click on this particular product here, let it load up for a second. So a customer's going to come along, they're going to type in the main keyword, see the main product. When they scroll down, you are going to see, so you see this right here, this is sponsored. This is someone running an ad on their particular listing. This is someone doing exactly what I've just shown you. This is someone doing that. And then if you scroll a little bit further down, and then if you look right here, you will see a more items to explore, a sponsored items tab. So this list here, all of these particular products are targeting this particular product using the exact method that I've just shown you. So you'll see that this is products related to this item. These are sponsored, which means that these people are paying to advertise on this particular product's page. And your product, providing that you bid high enough, this is why I recommend you use the suggested bid, will be shown in one of these top rows or top levels on that particular product's page. And if a customer likes the look of your product, like I said in the beginning of this video, you have to have a really good product in order for this to work, and you have to have a good listing. Now I don't want to click on any of these because it's going to cost these people unnecessary money, but if your product and your listing, if you've got high quality, highly valuable products, and you've got a very, very high quality listing, chances are you can steal that particular sale, or you can steal this particular customer off of your main competitor, providing that you have done all those things. So this is a really, really good strategy, and I highly recommend that you target your main competitors' listings, not only keywords, with your product, and see how it pans out. It could work wonders for you and your Amazon business. And one other piece of advice or tip that I have for anyone that is using Amazon to sell their products and is spending a considerable amount on, or any amount for that matter, on their advertising PPC campaigns, is you're being charged for these regardless of whether or not how you pay for them. Now what I would recommend that you do is to get yourself a credit card that either allows you to collect bonuses or to collect travel points or any sort of gift, any sort of bonus, any sort of privilege that they can give you for spending X amount per month. Because what you are going to do is change the way that you are charged for your Amazon PPC campaigns, and you're going to charge a credit card and collect the bonuses or points because you're spending that certain amount of money on your account every month, rather than just having Amazon take it out of your Amazon account balance. So it's another little tip. If you do have, or maybe you don't have, if you've got a good enough credit rating to get yourself a credit card that will allow you certain bonuses if you spend a certain amount per month, what I would recommend that you do is that rather than have Amazon take the money directly out of your Amazon seller account, charge it to your credit card and then pay that bill every single month yourself. And then what that would do is, over a period of time, I love to use this because it allows me I'm into traveling, okay, so I've got a few credit cards that give me travel points. So they allow me to spend a certain amount of travel points and get discounted fares whenever I travel all over the world. But you don't necessarily have to do that. You can collect travel points if you want a travel credit card, or you can collect other bonuses or any sort of offer or incentive that entices you to want to spend spend a certain amount on a credit card each month, I definitely recommend charging that to the credit card, because you're going to be spending this money regardless, especially if you are running a legitimate Amazon business and you're consistently spending PPC campaigns, which is what a lot of you guys who are watching this video will be doing. You might as well get something back for spending your money in the first place rather than letting it go away for free. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to do this, and all you will do is reap the benefits of having free bonuses or travel points or whatever it is that your particular credit card that you choose gives you for spending X amount of money every single month. Now, it's very easy to do this. Inside of your Amazon account, you're going to click on the settings tab in the top right hand corner, go to account information, and that will open up this page, and then you will see here where it says payment information, you want to click on the charge method for advertising. So you're going to click on that tab. Now, your default payment method will be your seller account method as highlighted here. So what that will mean is that the cost of the campaigns will be deducted from your Amazon seller account balance. Now, you can do it this way if you want to, if you don't want to go and get yourself a credit card, or if you already have one, you can definitely charge it and try and rack up some points or bonuses for yourself. The way that I would do it, because I'm spending so much every single month using this method, I want to get something back for the money that I'm spending, because I'm spending it regardless. So what you want to do is change your payment method. So click on change payment method, and you can click on choose payment method. You can either have the seller account method or add a credit or debit card. So we click credit or debit card, click continue. And what you do is just simply scroll to the bottom, click add a credit or debit card. Once you do that, it's just going to load up the information. So you're going to have to enter your name, your address, whatever the information is for your particular card. And then you would simply come back up to the top, click save payment method, and that is it. You are good to go. You are now charging your credit card every single month for the amount of money that you're spending on your Amazon PPC campaigns. You would then have to pay that yourself, but the bonus to it is that you are now collecting some sort of free bonus or gift that you weren't collecting if you were just taking the money directly out of your Amazon account balance. So definitely implement this method if you don't have a credit card already, but you have a good enough credit rating to get one. I definitely recommend doing this, because you might as well get something for something that you're doing anyway, if that makes sense. You're going to be spending money on PPC campaigns. You might as well have the credit card companies give you something that you can then spend or put towards a holiday or whatever it is that you may be, rather than just letting Amazon take the money directly out of your Amazon seller account. But that is how you can collect bonuses or travel points and travel for free, essentially, if you spend enough money each month using your credit card by paying for your Amazon PPC advertising campaigns in this particular way. Talk about an extremely effective and extremely profitable way in order for you to target misspelled keywords using PPC campaigns. Now, this is something that I've not heard anybody talk about. I mean, and this is a really, really incredible way. It's an extremely valuable way and profitable way in order to generate more sales for your business and spending pennies, literally spending a pittance. And that is by creating a PPC campaign and targeting words that have been misspelled by customers. I don't know why people don't talk about this, because it is extremely effective, and the amount of people out there that either do not know how to spell a specific keyword. So for example, English might not be their first spoken language, or whatever website you're selling on, whatever Amazon marketplace you're selling on, whatever the most obvious language is for that website. So for example, if you were selling in Amazon Germany, they'd be speaking German as their first language. There might be customers in Germany buying on the German marketplace, and German might not be their first spoken language. They might be English like myself, or like whatever language you may speak as your first language, as your nationality. So that person might be searching for a specific keyword using the language that's foreign to them, and they might make a mistake. Or the amount of people that simply don't know how to spell a specific keyword. They could be speaking English on, Amazon UK or on Amazon USA, and they could just misspell the keyword. Either they type really fast or they don't know how to spell a specific keyword. And a great way to snap up these customers is to create a PPC campaign targeting misspelled keywords. So the first thing you need to do is head over to our website. It's called typohound.com. So if you got it up here, I'll add it below this video or into the resources tab. I'll put the link there for you. Typohound.com. Now, as far as I am aware of, this website only works for people that are searching for products on eBay. There is not one currently that I know of anyway. If there is, I'll update this video in the future. That works for Amazon, but it's the same principle. What we are going to do is type in the main keyword for the products that we want to buy, because eBay is still a multi-billion-dollar company and they make a ridiculous amount of sales every single day. People on eBay misspell words, and what this website allows you to do is get the misspellings and the way that people are constantly misspelling certain keywords, and then copy them, and then we can make a PPC campaign inside of our Amazon account. So on ebay.com, I would use that. That gives you the biggest marketplace in terms of eBay. Let's say we were selling, the same example, baby silicone bib, and you're going to click sniff. Search one, 54, 52, 52.7. We're going to click on search one. We're going to have a look at that, let that open up here. So what you will find right here is all of the misspelled words and the most popular terms related to that specific keyword that we've searched for, the way that people misspell them, is in the search bar here. They are separated by a comma. So what we want to do is copy that entire row. So we're going to copy that here. I'll just show you guys there. Click copy. Head over to our Amazon account. We're going to click advertising, campaign manager, create a new campaign, sponsored products, misspelled campaign, no portfolio, start date can be whenever you're starting, end date you can run it for 1 week, 2 weeks. I recommend giving it at least 7 days to run. Daily budget, you could do $10, $20, whatever you're comfortable with. We want to do manual targeting. Scroll down, we'll leave that on dynamic bids only. Again, we're going to have misspelled campaign. Select the product that you wish to advertise for. So we want to do keyword targeting. Come down here, you want to click on enter list, and you want to paste your entire list in here. Now this is going to be a little bit tedious, a little bit time consuming, but you have to do it in order to create this type of campaign. You need to remove the commas after each keyword. So if we're going to remove that particular comma, then we're going to press enter, remove the space beforehand, then we're going to have to remove that comma, press enter. You need to have each and every keyword on its own individual line. So we're going to remove the comma. Now I'm not going to do that for all of these, we'd be here for hours, but you get my point of view. You're going to have to do that for every single keyword, have it on an individual line. Once you have gone through your entire list, and let me go back to our original list. Remember, this was only search results number 1 with 54 typos, search 2, search 3 and search 4. You have to go through all of these. So this is just the first search results, then you're going to click on the second, do the exact same thing. You're going to come back, you're going to copy the list, head back over to your Amazon campaign, paste all of the keywords into this list, remove any spaces in the beginning and the commas. And once you have, so let me select it, let me remove most of those. Oh no, made a mistake. So just remove the commas quickly for you to give you an example. So if we have those keywords entered into our list, I'll just do 4 for the example, but you have to do this for every single keyword that you have. So remove the rest. So you're going to have now a really, really big list of misspelled keywords. You're going to untick broad and untick phrase because we want to do an exact match. We want people that are typing in these exact misspelled keywords. We already know that people are typing them in a hell of a lot on eBay. So we want to target these exact keywords. We do not want phrase or broad match, just exact. Once you have done that and you've got your huge list, click add keywords, choose bid, leave it on the default add keywords. So 75 cents, exact. Now the beauty of this is because hardly anyone will be targeting these sorts of keywords because they're misspelled keywords that no one knows anything about. So people are going to be coming onto Amazon, they're going to be typing in BBY silicone bib instead of baby, they've missed A out, or bay silicone, or whatever your keyword is. This is going to be a misspelled keyword. They're going to type it in. Your product is then going to be suggested to them, and it's going to be an extremely low bid, even though you've got 75 cents here. Because hardly anybody else knows about this technique, you're targeting specific keywords. It wouldn't surprise me if your bids end up being 2, 3, 4 cents a piece, because hardly anybody is fighting over misspelled keywords because nobody knows about the technique. But this is a tremendous way of generating extra sales, and they are extremely cheap. So definitely implement this and get all of the best keywords that you can, the misspelled keywords for the main keyword or topic around your specific niche or your specific product that you're selling. Implement this into a campaign, and once you finally got all of your keywords in place, you can hit launch campaign. After a week, go back, have a look to see how your ACOS is performing for you, and I guarantee you will be extremely surprised at how low you are bidding for keywords that are converting to sales, because a lot of people are misspelling keywords when they are searching for them, and not a lot of Amazon sellers are aware of this technique. So definitely implement this into your Amazon PPC campaign strategy. So moving on from the very last lesson where I spoke about misspelled PPC campaigns, another really amazing, incredible, profitable strategy for Amazon PPC campaigns is foreign word campaigns. Now you would be surprised at how many people, again, especially Amazon sellers, do not know about this technique. And it can be extremely profitable because not a lot of people are implementing it into their PPC campaign strategy. Now what this involves, very similar to the last campaign I spoke about, misspelled PPC campaigns, you want to find a list of your top 10, top 20, top 30 performing keywords that you wish to target, and you want to have them translated into the second most popular and spoken language of the marketplace in which you're selling via Amazon. So what I mean by that, as an example, in the United States, obviously the first spoken, most popular language would be English. The second most popular and spoken language in the United States is Spanish. you have a huge Spanish-speaking population in the United States. And the amount of customers that this could generate for your business implementing this strategy is incredible. Because if you think about the amount of people that either are speaking in, so I'm talking about Spanish-speaking people who speak Spanish as their first and most fluent language, living in the United States, they're searching on Amazon for particular products. The amount of people that either speak broken English, they don't know how to type, so what they will use is their native language. They're going to head over to Amazon, and not knowing how to type or look for a certain keyword because they don't know the translation in English, they're going to use their own their first choice language. They're going to type in Spanish if they are, for the example that I'm giving you, if they're a Spanish speaking person in the United States, they're going to search for your product potentially using their native language in Spanish. And you can now, because you're targeting those specific keywords with PPC campaigns, one, they're going to be incredibly cheap because not a lot of people do this. Two, you can now generate a huge amount of sales because that customer, potential customer, is now going to see your product. They're going to buy it because they now see your product. They didn't know how to type it in English, as from my example, they've typed it in Spanish, and because you're targeting that specific keyword, your product's going to pop up. Now, another example I'll give you, for me personally, little backstory, I spend a lot of my time, I couldn't tell you how many times I've been to Australia. I've lived there for several big blocks of time in my life. Australia have a huge Chinese speaking population. Now, until I went over there, I had no idea about this. But what I also didn't realise is that the amount of people in Australia, on Amazon Australia, the Chinese citizens that are typing or looking for keywords on Amazon Australia, they're typing in Chinese. They're using Chinese words in order to look for products because they don't know English. And there is a huge space in the market for you, if you're selling a product that that particular customer is interested in, for you to once again come up in their search results, and now they turn into a customer of yours because you're implementing this strategy into your business. So what you need to do is find your, I'd say at least top 5, if not top 10 performing keywords that you know have got the most search volume. You've already created a campaign using or finding your best keywords. I showed you how to do it in the previous lecture. Find your top 5, let's go for top 10 keywords. Find your top 10 keywords and have them translated to the second most popular and spoken language for the marketplace that you're selling in. So for an example, in the United States, the second most popular speaking language is Spanish. In Australia, the second most popular spoken language is Chinese. In the UK, I'm not quite sure what it would be, but a quick Google search would do this for you. So if we were to go second most spoken language in the UK, second most spoken language in the UK. Okay, surprise, surprise, Polish. I would never have guessed that in a million years. If I had to guess, I would have said Spanish, maybe French, maybe Italian, because we're very close to those nations. It's Polish, the second most spoken language in the UK. So what you can now do, if, for this example, if you was selling in the UK, you can create a list of your top 5, top 10 keywords, have them translated into Polish, and now create a campaign inside of your Amazon PPC campaigns targeting those specific keywords. Your bids are going to be very, very low, target them exactly, and now you're going to generate a lot more sales from customers who cannot speak English as their first language, but they're in England looking for a particular product. So in order to do that, you've got your top performing keywords. You're going to head over to Google Translate. You're going to, in here it will detect the language that you're speaking, so most of you, if not all of you, will be speaking English, you'll be understanding what I'm saying. You're going to type your words in here, and then the translation, we obviously don't want the text translated to English, so let's just use Polish as that example. Translate to Polish. So if my keywords were baby silicone bib for baby boy, baby girl pink silicone bib. These are just examples. What you're going to do is type in your keywords that you are looking to have translated. So what it will do, if you type them in like this specifically, it's going to give you them. So baby silicone bib would be this word here, silicone bib for baby. What ideally you want to do is type them in one at a time and then copy that specific keyword. So baby silicone bib, do this for your top 5 or top 10 keywords. Copy the keywords once you have them, then head over to your Amazon account, hit advertising, hit campaign manager, and we're going to do exactly what we've done through most of these lectures already. Create a campaign. We want sponsored products, foreign word campaign, start date, end date, whenever that applies to you. Daily budget, you can leave that at $10. We want manual targeting, dynamic bids down only, ad group name, again, foreign word campaign. Select the product that you wish to advertise. We want keyword targeting. You want to enter your list. You want to untick broad and phrase because you want an exact match. And then whatever your keywords are, one at a time. So if this was one keyword, you would copy, come back over to your Amazon account, paste it into here, Press enter, and then you would put your next keyword on the next line. You would add all of your keywords, so top 5, top 10 keywords. Once you've done that, you would enter in the rest of your keywords. You would add your keywords. You would select your recommended bid or your suggested bid, whatever that would be. You would apply the suggested bid to all of those keywords. Come up to the top, launch your campaign, and then let that run for a few days. You can download a search term report. You can see if any of these keywords are converting into sales. I guarantee some of them will be, especially if they are your main keywords and it is a really popular product, or you have a lot of search volume and a lot of people are searching for those specific products. And you'd be really surprised at how many foreign speaking people end up buying your product because they're going into Amazon, they're using their native language to search for particular products, and then they end up finding your product because your competitors are not utilizing this method in their own advertising Amazon PPC campaign business. So definitely make sure that you implement this strategy, this foreign word strategy, into targeting your top 5 to 10 keywords, and you would be surprised at how well it is going to perform for you and your Amazon business. I'm going to show you how you can download a search term report, and the reason that this is really important is because you need to be able to download all of the data that you are collecting when you're spending money on Amazon PPC advertising. You need to be able to download that data and see what specific keywords or what product targets are working for you in your business. If they're too expensive, you obviously need to get rid of the keywords that aren't working, as well as the products that you're targeting. And if they're not too expensive and they're profitably generating you and your business sales, then you can keep them and you can invest more money into those specific keywords inside of those specific campaigns. So in order to do that, it's very, very simple. Inside of your Amazon Seller Central account, we're going to go to advertising. You're going to click on Campaign Manager. Now you're going to have a list here of all of the campaigns inside of your account that you've created and what they are called. So, you know, we've gone through creating foreign word campaigns, misspelled PPC campaigns, manually targeting PPC campaigns, product targeting campaigns. All of the campaigns that you would have targeted, you're going to have named them and you're going to see them in a list here. And that's very simple. In order to download the data for the campaign that you wish to download it for, you simply click on the campaign name here, and then over here you will see a button that says export. Now when you do that, it's now going to download up here. Going to click on that, and then we are going to double click on that campaign name. And once you open that particular file, you are going to be given a file that looks just like this. So all we're really going to be paying attention to, there's lots of information here. So you've got the match type, so that's the type of match that Amazon used or you used when you were creating this campaign, status, suggested bids, suggested keyword bids, impressions, all those sorts of things. All you're going to be focusing on is your ACOS. So that is this column here, and then you come over to here, you've got your keyword column as well. Those are the only two and most important things that you're going to be focused on, because you need to know what keywords are going to be working for you in your business as at an acceptable price point. If you're spending too much, then obviously it's not profitable for you, and if you're spending small amounts, then it's really profitable for you, and you need to scale those specific keywords and product targeting. So what we want to do is click on the ACOS column. I want to go up here to sort. I want to sort from the largest to the smallest. We'll click sort. And now we've got the columns sorted out as such. So I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to highlight these columns and remove them so that they are closer together. I'm just going to remove all of those columns. I'll delete those a second. Okay, right. So a little bit closer together, easier to understand. I'll just delete this column as well. Okay, so now that they are closer together, you can see as follows. Up until recently, Amazon gave you this as a percentage, but now they've started to give you it at a decimal point. So what you are going to do, first of all, in terms of ACOS here, everything that you see in this column, you're going to multiply that by 100, and that is going to give you a percentage based upon how much your product's final selling price point is for, a percentage of how much of that has been used towards making a sale for this specific keyword. So off the top of my head, if you need a calculator to do this, and so be it, but you can see the ACOS level for this particular keyword was 150%, 150%, 133%. So everything over 100%, 1.0 plus, everything over that, you're spending more than what you're actually selling the product for in order to get a conversion, which is really, really bad, obviously. So if you're selling a mobile phone as an example, and your net margins once you've sold a mobile phone, having taken into account what the phone cost you, your Amazon fees, your seller's fees, all those sorts of things, if your net margin is only 30%, so if you sell this, I'll really break it down simply. If you're selling this mobile phone for $100, once you've sold the phone, taking away all of your costs, if you are left with the $30 price point, so your net margins are 30%, so $30 profit is yours. If you are spending $60 in order to make that sale, you're losing money. It's not profitable for you. You know the most that you could possibly spend in order to break even and not make a penny would be $30 for this specific example. So what you need to do, which is something I mentioned in the first lesson of this module, is to understand what your net profit margin is once you take into account your product costs, your Amazon costs, all of those other things. And then you have an exact amount of how much you can spend in order to break even and not lose any money on a particular product. So you need to find out what your net profit margin is. Once you have that net margin, you know what the percentage percentage is, you now need to come over to your ACOS and have a look at what is acceptable for you and your business. So as an example, once again, if we were selling this phone for $100 and our net margins were 30%, that means that once we've sold the phone and we've paid everyone off, $30 is ours to keep. We could spend at most $30 in order to advertise one of these, but we wouldn't be making any money because the last $30 that we've just made, we've spent on advertising campaigns. So if you were to scroll down this list here, once we get to 0.30, remember you're multiplying these by 100 in order to give you the percentage of what they are. So for this example, that would be 30%. And we now know that 30% and below, so 30, 29, 28, 24, everything below that point, we now know is profitable for our business. If we spend up to 30%, so if we were to, using this particular keyword, if our ACOS was coming back at 30%, we know that we're breaking even. So we're not making any money, we're selling the unit, but we're breaking even. And the reason that I recommend that you still do that, you keep those specific keywords or products that you're targeting inside if you're just breaking even, is because they also help you rank your product for those specific keywords, and you're not losing any money in the process. And the benefit of that, of course, is that the higher your product ranks for specific keywords, you're going to make more organic sales. So you're going to get it in the back end rather than the front end. Now most people think, oh no, because I'm not making any money, I'm advertising, I'm breaking even, it's not good for me, it's not good for my business. They remove those keywords, and the reason I would recommend that you don't do that is simply because you can break even, it's not costing you a penny, and you're increasing the organic ranking of your product for those specific keywords. So what you need to do is figure out what your ACOS is, what your net margin is for your product once you've taken into account all of your fees. You then transfer that over to a percentage of what your ACOS would be. So like I said, everything in this column, because it's now given to you in a decimal point, you multiply by 100. So if your ACOS was 38%, if you had a net margin of 38%, you could spend up to 38% of your product's final price point on advertising. That's your break-even point. Anything below that would be good and profitable. Anything above that would be costing you too much. You'd now be negatively balanced. You wouldn't be making money. You'd in fact be losing money for every sale you made, and obviously that can't continue. So what you need to do is find out what your net margin is for your product. You'd come along here, you download the search term report for every single one of the campaigns that you've created inside of your Amazon seller account. Once you've let them run for at least a week, the longer you can let them run, the more information, the more data you'll have to analyze. But once you've let them run for at least a week, open up your laptop, download a search term report exactly as I've shown you, find out what keywords are performing at the acceptable ACOS level for you and your business. Anything above that, so if we were working at 38%, we can keep anything 37 and below. We know that those specific keywords here, they would be profitable, and we'd keep them. We'd actually now invest more money into those specific keywords. Anything above 38%, for this example, again, this applies to whatever your ACOS and your net margins are for you and your product and your business. Anything above that, you would come along here, you would now remove all of those specific keywords from your campaign because you know they're costing you too much money. You're in fact losing money. You're not making money when you're advertising those specific keywords. Now, in order to do that, for all of the keywords you want to remove, you'd simply remember the keyword, head back over to your Amazon account, click on your campaign, head over to targeting, and you would see, in this case, we're targeting products and we're targeting groups in this specific campaign, but you would see a list of all of your keywords along here, or the products that you're targeting. If you want to remove any of them, because this is an old campaign, it isn't giving me the option to, but this would mean that your campaign is enabled, you would want to click on it until that white tab crosses over the blue line, and then it would become disabled, and it would tell you disabled when you hover over it instead of enabled. Like it does right there, it would say disabled. That is the way that you would remove any keywords that are not performing well for you. And any keywords that are performing well for you in your business, that are profitable, so at your max ACOS level or your max net profit margin and below that, you now want to increase the money that you're spending on those because you know that they're profitable for you. So what you would do is simply disable all of the keywords or the product targeting that are not working for you, and then you can increase your budget because you now have a more condensed set of keywords that you know are profitable, and you can now invest more money into that. And you could let that run for another week or 10 days, download another search term report, again have a look at everything that's performing for you at an acceptable ACOS level for you and your business. You can remove anything that isn't performing and increase the budget and condense the keywords even more on all of the keywords and the product targetings that are performing. But that is exactly how you are going to download a search term report, analyze all of the data that it gives to you, and then remove anything that isn't working, increase your budget on all of the keywords or product targeting that is working, and voila, you now have profitable Amazon PPC campaigns.